Good evening again.
Good evening again.
Right. So wherever my head was at 11 years ago with a new son and a not quite as new daughter, she's not going to appreciate that if she watches it, is weird because obviously, as you may be aware, I'm rather fond of this programme called Doctor Who. And the fact that I hadn't engaged in this episode to the extent that I've engaged with it tonight is shocking to me. Because my recollection of this story was very much, it's the Gareth Roberts one. Like, genuinely, that's kind of where I was at with it. Oh, yeah, it's the silly Gareth Roberts one. Silly's an unfair word, actually. Silly's not the word, but, whatever. But in actual fact, this... I cannot express to you the extent to which I've enjoyed this story, but in addition to that, how different an enjoyment it has been to almost any other Doctor Who story I can think of. And the reason for that is this, and this dawned on me when I was having a run the other day, and I was pondering about the Doctor and Clara, and it's that bit at the end of Time Heist, which I didn't mention, where he says something on the lines of, robbing an actual bank, try and have a better date than that. And I thought to myself, and at that point, he doesn't know who Danny Pink is. He doesn't know if there's going to be what the whole situation is. But it dawned on me that the Doctor is kind of jealous of Clara. Now, it's not a sort of, I want Clara to be my girlfriend. This isn't that Doctor. This is more old school, relationship with companion, but it's the next level. The Doctor's relationship with Clara is so fundamentally important to him, but this Doctor is finding it so hard to express that and be comfortable with that, and that reaches its, what's the word, apotheosis? Oh, it's a good word, whatever it is. Because in this story, which is just so good, in this story, we get to see what it's like when this most awkward of doctors drops in our companion's life. I adore the fact that Clara, who is a sublime companion, who can cope with the most traumatic and difficult experiences, just cannot cope with real life. Cannot cope with real life whatsoever. I love that about Clara. And what it's like when this most awkward of doctor drops in your real life. So we've seen stuff like this with Tennant dropping in, and Eccleston with Jackie and all this kind of thing. But my God, Clara has to work hard to make any of this make sense. And this little, now I'm going to say love triangle, but I don't mean love triangle. I mean relationship triangle, okay? It's just so beautifully drawn. I have had no real affectionate memory of Danny Pink. Could you remember anything about Danny Pink?
I think he was a bit boring.
Do you feel that way now?
A little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I liked him. I just think he's not particularly interesting.
It is.
But then I don't tend to go for a quiet, sensitive man.
Oh, great. There is something about setting any character up in opposition to the Doctor, which makes them all of a sudden on the back foot.
Especially, for example, sorry to interrupt.
No, carry on, please.
But in this episode, the Doctor is particularly funny.
Oh, God, he's so funny.
Multiple occasions, and I just think that makes Danny Pink look really dull in comparison.
It's a very fair shout, and maybe that's to the detriment of Danny's character, is the fact that this Doctor is funny, but in a quite a caustic way, and there's not much generosity of spirit on that surface level, at least. And he does, the whole PE thing, that was genuinely funny when he stood by the thing. No, don't get that. You're a soldier, so and that's really funny, but it's also quite mean. Winnie is not happy with this Doctor. She is trying quite hard, but she is not happy with the way that he's treating the people around him. Whereas I'm just finding it hilarious, and it's not the kindest of things. And poor old Clara getting caught in the middle of this and trying to have some semblance of normality, but excelling at being a companion. She is top tier companion. She is top tier. Back me up.
She's near the top tier of companions.
Why are you being so hesitant with your praise of Clara? Why do you hate Clara so much?
I absolutely love Clara.
Okay.
But in terms of longevity, I
Okay.
don't think we're going to have her very much longer, are we?
Oh,
And then it's diminishing returns.
I think you
for
may
all of them.
actually be slightly wrong about that.
Am I?
Yeah. We've
Well,
got.
maybe I just can't remember it.
Well, there we. And we can't, and that's the thing. So we're watching this episode tonight. And admittedly, you know, is the plot doing anything here? Yes, of course. But it's to hang on these moments, these character modes. Oh, and the bit, oh my word, where the Doctor mistakes Clara's boyfriend for the guy that looks like Matt Smith. That is a wrinkle on the Doctor's character, unlike anything we've ever seen.
It was so funny.
Oh, it was not only funny, but weirdly lovely as well. It was a really... When you boil that down, the Doctor is usually rather disparaging about the previous iterations of themselves. Usually. We will see in the future, but usually they're quite rude. But the Doctor seems so delighted that he thinks Clara's fallen for somebody who you know, is writ large, Matt Smith-esque.
And his like smug face.
But it's not just smug. I don't think it's smug. I think he's genuinely. It's almost like when something in your life just slots into place, and there's a sort of contentment to it. And the fact that he's wrong, it's both funny. It is genuinely funny, but for Danny, it's really sad. Do you know? I'd not appreciated before just how Capaldi has, and I've been watching. I hate YouTube Shorts. I think they're one of the downfalls of society. Sorry, but I've been watching that YouTube short that's cropped up just with him talking about his time in the role and this, that, and the other. Because, like I say, I don't feel that I've engaged with this period of Doctor Who anywhere near to the extent that it deserves to be engaged with. And I know he's a great actor, but I'm feeling it in his interpretation of the Doctor now. And I'm feeling that relationship with Clara. And I'm feeling how Moffat, who already was pushing in new directions and creating new things and whatever else like that, has managed to find a whole new seam to mine. You know what I mean? He's managed to find a whole new path. He's Stephen Moffat, for crying out loud. But he's found a whole new path to follow. He's got Capaldi on board who's doing, stuff that, to say unthinkable is an absolutely bonkers thing. But we're talking about this top quality actor who knows his Doctor Who and he's found a new way to play it. And you've got Jenna Coleman, who genuinely, I think, is relishing all these weird... who gets a role which... you are in love, to whatever extent, with this ancient character who you did fancy, but it's not. But now you've fallen for this guy. How do you process that as an actor? How do you do that? And I suppose, therefore, right, and let's be honest, if Danny, as a character, as a performance, falls a little short of that... And this is a three-hander to whatever extent, isn't it? That's where although there are other characters, but you take my point. Is it any wonder that who could be dropped into that situation and have, bless. Anyway, listen, genuinely, I am so made up at the moment going through this sequence of stories because I'm finding stuff here that, the Stewarts of the world, John and Paul, perhaps, because we haven't talked about this era as much as of others, obviously, I've already seen in it, and I'm finding it genuinely for the first time. This is so engaging for me. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm going to have to get around and read a Capaldi book soon, even though I said I wasn't going to read another Doctor Who book, but I think I might have to. Anyway, gloriousness. Do you have anything else to say?
No, just how funny I found it.
Oh, it's just genuinely hilarious. And I'd missed that as well. I just didn't pick anything up. What was going on with my brain back then? Anyway, not to worry. See you soon. Bye-bye.